right, I think we're up. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome once again to the recap. I am Michael DeAngelo, joined as always by my partner in crime, Mr. Big D, Daryl Ortiz. Happy almost New Year. We're like a
Almost
couple of days away.
Yeah, literally 2 days away, I think it is. So can't wait. Gonna kick off 2024, but a good way to end 2023 in my books here.
I agree. A great way to end it. And, well, I guess we should probably change the name of today's show because we're not recapping anything today because there's nothing to recap. This week on Raw and Smackdown, they had their best of 2023 shows. So that's what was running this week. So if you didn't see some matches or some of the premium cards, that was your opportunity to catch some of that during the regular shows. So instead, we're going to do something a little bit different, and we are going to preview. So today will be the preview. We're going to preview the first shows of 2024. So that's going to be Raw Day 1 and SmackDown New Year's Revolution. Make sure I get that right because I want to say resolution every time, obviously.
I know, right? Same here. Same here.
Keep accidentally almost messing it up. But they've already got the announced cards, which we both noticed, only 4 matches per card. So
yeah,
that'll be interesting.
What
do you think that is, Big D?
I mean... So part of me feels that there are going to be a lot of promos, a lot of Happy New Year, New Year resolution kind of montages from the competitors, from the superstars and whatnot. I feel there may be, I'm going to say it now, I think I've been hearing on the rumor mill that there may be a return on Monday in the form of Brock Lesnar to resolve some unfinished business with Mr. Cody Rhodes, who's currently feuding with Shinsuke. So unless there's a match or something between him and Shinsuke, I feel there's going to be a roadblock in the way by the means of Mr. Brock Lesnar. I think, just a guess, and a hunch.
I hadn't heard of any of that. I've stayed away from all the dirt sheet stuff. I'm like, I'm trying to go into it clean, but that's interesting.
Yeah, so there may be something going on. Who knows? I mean, I don't know. They haven't announced anything officially. I think the last I heard, the 4 matches were pretty much that's all there was. So my guess, if there's no other matches, then yeah, it'll just probably be video packages and probably, I'm assuming typical WWE fashion of doing Superstar New Year's resolutions, stuff like that. So they actually play on stuff like that. So I'm curious to see how that comes out.
Yeah, all I can say is I hope they take advantage of the fact that they only have, they're not running a card that has 5 matches. You only have 4. Run your commercial breaks outside of the matches. You now have plenty of ad time. Please don't pause for commercial interruption. Maybe if you have to, just don't do it during the main event. That'd be awesome.
Or maybe they do the obligatory 2
commercial
breaks.
Yeah, well, they're going to have to. There's going to be the 2 commercial breaks during the main event because they always have them timed up. They run the same spots at the same time. So, but maybe they can run something commercial free for like the first hour or the last hour. That'd be neat. But we'll see.
Awesome.
None of that's been announced.
Yeah.
But Raw Day 1, we will start there. First matchup that we had on this card, the number 1 contenders match for the WWE Women's Tag Team Championships, Shayna Baszler and Zoe Stark versus Natalya and Tegan Nox. So what are your thoughts on this one, Big D? This is not one that I've really been looking forward to, but I'm curious about your thoughts.
Well, I mean, this was one that was pretty much put together at the last minute, right? Literally 2 weeks ago. So, I mean, they're just standing back there when the tag titles were swapped over to the party girls, right? Kaden and Carter, or Katana and Carter, and so they are just looking at each other and saying, "Oh, well, they should have a contender." So this is the match that became of it. So, not a fan of it myself either, but if I had to guess, my money would be that Shayna Baszler and Zoe Stark take this one, only because I feel like I can't see Natalya and Tegan Nox as a viable tag team. I feel Tegan Nox is too good of a competitor to be a tag team. I feel she should be a solo competitor. I feel she should be in the main event picture. I know a few shows back I was talking about the possibility of some type of cruiserweight or like an in-between title between tag and championship, right? But I think Tegan Nox should be up there as a solo competitor. I don't see her as a tag team person. I know Natalya's getting her reps in, and that's great, but I don't know. I just can't get behind the team, so I feel that it'll probably be Shayna Baszler and Zoe Stark taking that one in, because that'll maybe lead to like a breakup between Natalya and Tegan Nox because they can't get on the same page. So maybe there's some tension that boils over, and then we see then there's a solo event between them two, right? Let them fight each other. They should both put on pretty good matches, because I mean, Natalia, despite my dislike of her being in a tag team, I feel she's a good solo competitor as well. So I think that'll be a good way to kind of weave them in a little bit on that one.
Yeah, and I agree. I feel like Shayna Baszler and Zoe Stark kind of have to win this one. And namely because we already saw kind of in that impromptu tournament, or it wasn't really an official tournament, but the way that they came up with, I'll call them either K squared or C squared, becoming the women's champions. They wrestled them a few weeks ago and beat them. So it's like, if they've already defeated Natalya and Tegan Nox, why would you run that one back? So since that already happened, it's like Baszler and Zoe Stark haven't competed against them yet. They haven't really competed as a tag team either. That's where I'm looking at this going, they don't have any history. So it feels like, yes, you're going to have them be the number one contenders just because it's something new. You're not going to run back Natalya and Tegan Nox. But kind of what are you doing with Shayna Baszler and Zoe Stark? Like, the only thing that they have in common in recent history is they both got squashed by Nia. This is where I was thinking back. I'm like, both of them lost to Nia Jax. Both of them, they both got squashed so hard by Nia Jax that they got squashed into a tag team now. So that's what they're doing, and it feels like they just don't really know what to do with. Which I feel like Zoe Stark and Shayna Baszler are both great individual competitors as well. So is this going to be a permanent thing? Or are you going to actually just say, hey, let them run in the tag team division because we don't really have any established tag teams, and let's build them up as one? But it just feels like an afterthought. I
mean, I feel if you're gonna force solo competitors into a tag team, I kind of feel Shayna and Shayna and Zoe would probably be the better candidates when you compare them to Natalya and Tegan Nox, right? Because, like you said, I mean, they're both, of course, they're both heels, and they both have similar movesets in the form that they're very aggressive. I know Shayna's more, submission, the submission magician and everything, but again, Zoe Stark's a very aggressive heel, and they're both like run the power game. They both, are ruthless in their fighting skills, and I can see them become a formidable tag team that can actually be a threat to the titles, for the tag titles. So, I mean, it makes more sense to me. I mean, I feel it makes more sense.
Yeah, I mean, out of those two, definitely. But I just feel like long term, it feels like an afterthought. But they painted themselves into the corner with this matchup. So Shayna Baszler, Zoe Stark seems like it's the right choice. But that'll be opening up the card. And then after that, speaking of Nia Jax, after that we have the Becky Lynch versus Nia Jax. So, Big D, what are your thoughts on? I have many strong thoughts about this. I shared this earlier, or a little bit last week, but let's start off with, how do you see this going? What are your thoughts on Becky Lynch versus Nia Jax?
It's going to be an annoying start. There's going to be a lot of cat and mouse. Nia's going to keep rolling out of the ring.
Yeah.
And Becky's going to keep trying to get her to come back into the ring. There's going to be a lot of trash talking. Typical. But at the end of the day, I probably see Becky winning this one. I don't see her losing it. I know they're pushing Nia pretty hard, but at the same time, they won't. I don't think they'll let Becky lose. And I mean, I could be wrong. For all I know, Nia's going to beat her clean, which would be terrible. But I mean, if they do, they do. But my feelings are that Becky's going to come away with this one. However, I don't think it's going to be clean. I feel it's either going to be interference or some kind of distraction, or I feel that it's going to be a out of nowhere surprise roll-up pin for the victory, which I hate those finishes, but they seem to do that when they don't want to let a competitor they're pushing strongly take a clean pin, right? So they're going to have maybe Becky roll her up. She's going to miss one of her moves, and Becky's going to roll her up for the quick
bonsai drop. Like maybe she's got her on the ground, and she tries to do the bonsai drop, and she like scoots under her and rolls her up.
Yeah, something like that. But I mean, it would not be unlikely, right? Like it's something that we could probably
it wouldn't
foresee
be surprising.
Happening.
It'd be very lame. Yeah.
And after all, the roll up is the most devastating finisher in all of sports entertainment.
It's incredibly effective. I gotta tell you, the effectiveness rate on it is off the charts. So I get why people go for it all the time. This one just bums me out. So I feel like, I mean, you're absolutely right. So Becky Lynch either has to win, because I feel like you're not going to put Nia Jax over Becky. Like, you're not going to do that, because this is Becky's revenge match. It's 5 years in the making, and this is like her opportunity to even the score and all that good stuff. But if Becky wins, then what was the point of Nia squashing Zoe Stark and Shayna Baszler? Because it's like, okay, so you go through this and you have her squashing everybody, and then you just have her pull up and lose to Becky Lynch. I feel like they kind of painted themselves into a corner on this one, where you could do that, where you say, hey, there's some interference. Do you have like a surprise return? Does Jade Cargill finally make her debut and comes out and interferes in it? Like, because they've still been kind of holding off on her. I was thinking she's probably going to show up in the Women's Royal Rumble and be like a surprise entrant there, but you never know. Like what do you do to kind of bail them out of this? Because if Becky just beats her, that's kind of silly at this point, because then you just squashed all the momentum that you spent building up Nia. And I know why I dislike this so much. I talked about this last week, that it's because of the actual history of her getting her face smashed. You know, Nia Jax smashing Becky Lynch's face. And so it kind of ruins the mystique. And I was like, when did I feel like this before? And I felt like this before. You remember when Cain Velasquez came out on Smackdown and Brock Lesnar was like, oh, and then Cain walked down to the ring and pummeled him, and there was this collective groan from me and everyone that saw it.
Yeah, I remember that.
I'm a huge wrestling fan. I am a huge MMA fan and UFC fan since the beginning. So obviously, for those, everybody knows they actually fought in the UFC. Cain Velasquez absolutely obliterated Brock Lesnar. It wasn't even close.
He did.
It wasn't one of the things where it's like, oh, he got a lucky punch.
No.
He dominated him from start to finish. He dominated him in terms of Brock Lesnar's big thing was using wrestling. Cain shook off takedown attempts, was able to stand back up. The one time that he did get him down, he popped up pretty quickly, just destroyed him with the stand-up. It wasn't even competitive, where Brock Lesnar literally verbally submitted. He was like screaming for him to stop. Left him with a souvenir, which he still has. He's got that scar under his eye from that fight. So when Cain walked out, I was like, okay, like, we're really going to pitch this as, this is Brock Lesnar's revenge opportunity. Time for him to even the score. And it's like, you know what will happen in a real fight. And, of course, they went on and they competed at Crown Jewel against each other. And Lesnar avenged the loss, which I thought was so stupid. Because they're like, and they talk about, he avenged it. He shook off and exorcised the demons. And I'm like, okay, you can't mesh what really happened with this fantasy of him beating him at Crown Jewel. That's going to take you out. I either have it all be a fantasy or have it all be real. You can't mesh the two, because then I'm not going to take it seriously. There is still a suspension of disbelief that you have to have. So I despise that. That would be as bad as if Ronda Rousey all of a sudden was there and like the music hits and Holly Holmes walks out and it's like, Holly Holmes is back to have another go around at Ronda, and then Ronda beat her. I would be like, come on. Like seriously, like, this is a way to stroke their ego and give them a fake win. You can't intermingle those two. Right. Like that's what takes me out of it. So when I saw that, I was like, oh, this feels like Cain Velasquez, Brock Lesnar on SmackDown again. So I'm not looking forward to this one. I would be fine if they ran 3 commercial breaks during this one, and then we'll see the inevitable outcome, which is Becky Lynch winning. Yeah,
I agree. I mean, where else can you go with it, right? I mean, if you let Nia beat Becky, then you just pretty much just like crapped on one of your best female competitors, right? And now a possible main eventer. Becky out to dry. Yeah, you can't. There's no way she comes out of this losing and looking strong. She has to win. So I can't see it any other way.
Well, especially since Charlotte Flair is now injured, so she's out for a while. So Becky Lynch is even more important in the women's division now. So they're going to protect her, as well they should. But it just, I don't know. It feels like it's all going to be a waste, unless they do some nice storytelling and somebody comes back or something happens. But I don't have a ton of confidence in that either. I think it's just going to be straight up. She'll beat her. Sasha Banks, the Banks statement. I'm hoping Sasha Banks is going to be a surprise entrant at the Royal Rumble too.
She will be.
Or
she will be.
She will be. I think she's going to be. Obviously, Jade's going to be in the Royal Rumble, Women's Royal. I'm more excited about the Women's Royal Rumble at this point than the Men's Royal Rumble. We'll do that as a different preview show though later.
Yeah, because I can go on.
We'll have a chance to talk about that. Yeah. What won't go on forever is we'll call it the co-main event. It's the next match, second to last Women's World Championship match: Rhea Ripley versus Ivy Nile. Big D. Why should we watch this one?
I mean, if you like Rhea, you'll see her win. I mean, she's not dropping the title. There's no way. It's not just because I like Rhea. I think she's a great champion. I think her character, everything she's doing it great. She's doing a great job. It's not just because of that though. For me, she's been built up so well, and I don't see Ivy Nile, who has yet to wrestle on TV. I think she did in NXT. I fell off on NXT for a little bit.
She was in a battle royale in like early November on Raw.
Yeah.
There was like a women's battle royale for number one contendership that she didn't win. That was it though. That was the only time she's wrestled.
Yeah, and don't get me wrong, Ivy Nile. I mean, she's good. I feel that she looks the part too. She's like that strong. She looks like that strong, scrappy competitor who could possibly win against Rhea, but I don't see it happening right now. To be honest, I don't see that title changing hands. I don't see any title changing hands on Raw. Spoilers, but I think. Yeah. I mean, I think it'll be. Will it be more competitive than Rhea and Dupree? Yes, obviously, it'd be a lot more competitive. However, I still see Rhea coming away with this one. Maybe Ivy puts up a good fight, and maybe that sets up a program for later on down the road. I'd be for that, but right now I don't see Ivy taking this from. I mean, and I'm gonna say it out there because it's inevitable. We're gonna see Judgment Day come out. We're gonna see the Creed brothers and Alpha Academy come out to help. So it's just, it's going to be one of those that everyone's going to come out, ref's going to eject people and back to normal, right? But, I mean, whether she wins by shenanigans, she shouldn't, because Rhea's strong enough as a competitor on her own to win this one on her own. So I see Rhea taking it.
I agree. And this was a head-scratcher for that same reason, because I was thinking, when was the last time that I saw Ivy Nile compete in a singles match on Raw? And I was like, I don't think ever. And I was like, oh, it was just that one battle royal. And she didn't win it. And this goes back to the inconsistency with storytelling for WWE. Like, you have the whole Randy Orton comes back from 18-month layoff and gets told, hey, you've been on the shelf for 18 months. You haven't earned a title shot. You got to earn it. And they made this big thing about it, which is true. It's like, okay, he needs to earn his title shot. Ivy Nile hasn't done anything to earn a title shot. What was it? Butch didn't do anything to earn the NXT North American title shot either, except lose. So I'm like, you can't be inconsistent with that. Either people have to earn their title shots around here, or you're just giving them out, because we've seen two just get handed out. This one in particular doesn't make a lot of sense. They built it up basically with Ivy Nile getting mad dogged by Rhea Ripley. Like that was the build up. It's they do a face off and she's like, hey, what are you gonna do? And then Ivy Nile looked like she crapped her pants. And it's like, she didn't look intimidating. She looked intimidated. She's like, like, get out of here. So that doesn't really sell me on it. I agree. There's probably going to be some shenanigans that's going to happen here. Creed brothers like to come out for the save all the time, so they're on the clock. They'll come running down to help out.
They'll be ready.
But this one, more likely than not, Rhea Ripley should win.
Yeah.
Which takes us to the main event with 2 commercial breaks minimum. Seth Rollins and Drew McIntyre. How do you see this one going?
Yeah, Seth's winning this one. However, not as easily as it may seem. So I would say it's a safe bet that they want to protect Drew, especially the way they've been building him as this monster heel now, right? Because he's pissed off. He's angry. He's out for vengeance. He wants blood. Cool. Too soon for him to achieve that goal of getting the title. He hasn't blown through enough people yet. So I'm going to predict that an old ghost comes out to haunt in the form of Sami Zayn, returning from injury, to get his his revenge, if you must, on Drew. And I feel he will have an impact on that. He'll have an impact on that actual match, because he's going to come out, distract Drew, maybe let Seth hit a curb stomp and just end the match, and then they can start their feud, because now he's going to be fuming, and you can take that through pretty much to the Rumble and let them kind of go back and forth until then. But yeah, I don't see Drew winning, but I don't see him losing clean either. And I know it seems like a bit of a cop out, right? But at the same time, the way they built him, just like we go back to the Nia and Becky Lynch conversation, like you can't see Seth losing to Drew with no build. Well, he had some build, but not a lot.
Yeah.
He had some build, so I'll correct myself. He had some build, but I don't think it's time yet, especially because I feel like that's just a placeholder, because I think what they really want is they really want Punk versus Rollins for the title. And I think that's where the title changes hands. As much as I don't want to see that, that's where the title will change hands. But for now, I think to save Drew, Sammy's going to come out for the distraction.
I think you're probably right, Big D. But now comes Michael DeAngela's insane speculation. The insane speculation. All right. This may or may not happen. I'm just going to go out on a limb here. So I was sitting there thinking, what should they do here? What might they do here? So what I'm thinking is they go through the match. We've already established you've got Drew McIntyre. He's a changed man. He's willing to do anything, sacrifice anything. You know, he'll go to extremes to win and all that good stuff. So I think they're going to have a crazy match, a competitive match. Drew's going to go through that same thing, at least 30 minutes, because this happens every time with Drew McIntyre. At least 30 minutes and 2 commercial breaks. And he's going to get more exasperated, more upset, more exasperated, more upset. And then he's going to end up getting DQ'd. And so Seth will retain because Drew will get DQ'd. Drew's going to do the same shenanigans because he hurt Sami Zayn's knee and attacked it. And then he also went after, what was it? Jey Uso's eye, was like gouging his eye. So now he starts like attacking him and trying to intentionally injure him. And then he walks away. And then the music hits. And Damian Priest cashes in Money in the Bank. And he comes running down to close the first show and picks up the victory. And he is the new World Heavyweight Champion. And it'll be him, Rhea Ripley, and, of course, Finn Balor will be there so that they can have the women's title, the unified tag titles, and the World Championship. And it'll be not Raw Day 1, Judgment Day 1. And then that's how the show will end. And it'll be like, oh, my gosh, surprise cash in. And then they'll rematch at the Royal Rumble. and Seth Rollins will quickly get it back just in time to face CM Punk, who will win. So there's something about it that goes, are they going to do something weird like that? Because they've been hyping up Raw Day 1 as this is going to be a huge show, basically a premium event on regular television.
They're treating it like
so do you do something wild like that and treat it like that? And I just hope if they do that, don't have him fail the cash in. Like, let him actually cash it in. Don't mess it up. Like, you can't keep teasing that. Well, so that's my wild prediction. It probably won't happen.
I mean, it makes sense.
I remember Baron Corbin failing a cash in, right?
He started the failed cash-ins. And I think...
he started the failed cash-ins. But I was trying to think of who else has failed one. But I was like, the more I thought about it, though, I was like, the more I think about this, the more this makes sense.
Yeah, I think you're right. I mean, either way, it's not going to be a clean finish, but I think that's just, I don't know. That makes sense.
It won't, but then it's kind of like, if you do that, though, what happens with, like, now you got to feud Seth Rollins and Damian Priest up to the Royal Rumble. He'll obviously get it back because they want to go on with the CM Punk feud, but you want to keep him doing things. And do you want to continue to drag out the Drew McIntyre feud? Probably not. That's what WWE's thinking. And then maybe you bring back Sami Zayn or somebody else back for revenge to give Drew something to do in between the Royal Rumble. Or they're both you have them feud up and they're both in the Royal Rumble and then they cost each other. However you want to handle that. But
yeah,
I sure hope so. I hope there's some craziness on Raw Day 1. That would be awesome.
Yeah.
I've got a feeling it's going to be pretty run-of-the-mill stuff.
Well, last year was Seth Rollins. He cashed it in. No, wait. It wasn't Seth Rollins. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I
Oh,
was
it was
like,
Austin Theory. That's right. It was Austin Theory. Because he had a failed cash in. He had a failed cash in because Bobby Lashley attacked him when he cashed in. That's right.
Yeah, so you can't do two failed cash-ins in a row. Like you gotta have somebody be successful with it.
Has it been done? I don't think it has. Because let's see, Big E was successful. That was a beautiful one. Brock Lesnar. I remember the Brock box, the jukebox. That was pretty cool. Braun.
Yeah.
Braun took it from Kevin Owens. Baron Corbin didn't. Carmella was the back-to-back ones. Yeah, Carmella. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, you might be right. I mean,
maybe
stranger things have happened.
It's gonna just be Seth Rollins will win with a curb stomp, and that'll be.
They just close out the show,
and they'll be like, "All right,
we're done."
And they just close out the show. You see the little tag pop up at the bottom of the screen where it's like trademark copyright. And they're like, show's over. That's it. It's all done. But we can dare to dream here on the recap.
We sure can.
But anyways, so that's Raw Day 1 thoughts and predictions. We'll jump over to SmackDown New Year's Revolution. Starting off with a pretty lame first match. Pretty deadly. Pretty deadly, pretty lame. Pretty deadly. Kit Wilson, Milton Prince, taking on Butch and a mystery partner. It just currently says it's 3 question marks. So
it's vacant.
Big D. What are we getting in this one?
Well, in the place of vacant, I would say Butch's partner. I'm standing by this. It will be Tyler Bate. I know more than likely it'll be Sheamus, but in my heart, I want it to be Tyler Bate because I would love to see them tag again together. That would be awesome. It'd be a huge pop for Tyler Bate, I feel.
Yeah.
Or even Trent Seven because the 3 of them were Mustache Mountain, so that would have been awesome. So either one would be amazing. Maybe it might be Sheamus the more I think about it, but I'm leaning towards I'm going to stick with Tyler Bate. Tyler Bate's going to be his partner, and then I see them pulling off the win, just because Tyler Bate is freaking amazing. Tyler Bate's freaking amazing, and I just think that Pretty Deadly. They're a good tag team, and that's the sad thing is that they were NXT Tag Team Champions. They're a good tag team, but I feel like WWE doesn't really know how to use them. So I feel like they're kind of just I think they're going to become like the comical tag team that gets beat for no reason. But I think it's going to be Butch and Tyler Bate. He'll switch back to Pete Dunne, and I think that'll be a nice change of pace for him because the whole Brawling Brutes is cool. I liked him with Sheamus and everything. I hated the name Butch. I don't like the name Butch. I think it's. I mean, I know he can't choose. He has no choice. But I mean, what better way to turn around and now become a more formidable tag team in the main roster than to pull up Tyler Bate with you and you guys run roughshod through the tag division.
Yeah. Well, and he was teaming. It was out of that group, the Brawling Brutes, it was Sheamus and who was the other one? Like Ridge Holland, I think.
Yeah, Ridge Holland. He's out there.
Other part of that
killing
trio.
People.
Ridge
Yeah, he's the one that hurt Biggie.
And that's how I'm like, I was like.
Yeah,
and that's what I was like, are you going to have Ridge Holland come back? Probably not. Because I was like, at first I was like, you bring back Ridge Holland. Then my instinct was Sheamus. I was like, okay, is it going to be Sheamus? Because they've already name dropped Sheamus once about. He said, I haven't seen Sheamus in forever, and it's like, you'll see him next week. But I don't know. I like your idea better. I do feel like you got to give Butch a win. Like you guys have been jobbing around on TV for weeks now. Give him something. So this is going to be the week for it. Unfortunately, it won't be a singles win. He's going to win in a tag match. Pretty Deadly's kind of giving me Fashion Police vibes, by the way. Although Dango. I thought the Fashion Police. Yeah, it's like I like the Fashion Police. I thought they were fun and they were
so
good
awesome.
wrestlers.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed them, but I was like, Pretty Deadly's giving me like Fashion Police vibes, but not in a good way. It's like the Wish version of the Fashion Police for me. So hopefully Butch and the mystery partner are able to pull it out this week, and I think that they probably will. And then that leads us into the probably the easiest one to predict, the number 1 contenders match for the WWE United States Championship Tournament final. and that is Kevin Owens versus Santos Escobar, which we've already correctly called this tournament very, very easily. Big D, is it going to be as obvious as we've been saying?
It will, but I feel like this time, instead of a cell phone promo picture in picture, you're gonna have Logan Paul interfere because he does not want to fight KO, and now it's becoming more of a reality. Yeah. So we're either gonna see that, or we're gonna see the newly formed team with Angel Garza and Humberto Carrillo coming to interfere for Santos. But I think KO's going to overcome because that's just what he does. I mean, KO's going to overcome. Mm-hmm. And, speaking of, I had to make a correction here. We were talking about his finisher and it being the stunner, and we're trying to figure out what else he had. And actually, a viewer corrected me on Instagram, so I appreciate that. I didn't get your name. I wish I did. I would have written it down. I should have. But, he had the pop-up powerbomb. He still does. Has the pop-up power bomb.
Oh yeah, that's right.
He just hasn't used it. He just hasn't used it
in
a while. Yeah, but my thing is like he hasn't used it in a while. So I mean, he's been defaulting to the stunner. But who knows? I mean, he could bring that out too.
Well,
but anyways,
does he have back issues? Is there something going on? Like I presume he moved to the stunner because it's easier on your body to do it. It requires less skill. Like a pop-up power bomb actually requires more stability in your body, and that's where I was like, does KO like have an injury now? Obviously, he's doing the swanton, so clearly he's got good flexibility and he can leap around. But
he still does the cannonball.
I feel like there's a change there. Yeah, he still does the cannonball. So I'm like, why? The pop-up power bomb is a cool move. It's like why are you going to move away from that to really just mimic Stone Cold Stunner?
Maybe it's a safety
beyond
thing.
Me. I feel like.
Maybe it's a safety thing because a lot of guys can't take a power bomb either nowadays, especially when you pop them up in the air. So, I mean, who knows? But I think KO's going to win this one. He'll overcome. Even with, I feel Logan Paul's going to interfere, but I still think that KO's going to come out on top, and there's going to be a little brawl between him and Logan Paul to kind of set up even more so for their inevitable title changing of hands, because I think Kevin Owens is going to take that title from him too. So, or at least I'm hoping. I'm hoping he does, because Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I hope so. So, and that's where I agree, because I'm like, we talked about this, and like, this is the obvious setup is this is going, because they've already got the title match booked for the Royal Rumble. So obviously at the Royal Rumble, it's going to be Logan Paul versus Kevin Owens. They've been telegraphing this thing forever. And so the caveat to this is the U.S. Championship tournament, all in all, was great matches. I mean, every single match was fantastic.
I loved it.
All of them were amazing. It gets an F for storytelling because it's like it was so obvious who was going to win, and it was so obvious who was going to get to the finals. So they didn't do a good job of creating any suspense for that. But the matches were fantastic, and they were great to watch.
This one's going to be no different.
This one will be fantastic as well. Logan Paul, obviously, I agree. He should be there live because it's the big. First show of the year, so he'll
be on commentary.
He'll get out there and do his thing. He'll be on commentary saying snide remarks, and I'll be listening with the sound turned down. It'll kind of be what it is. But gosh, I hope so. And the other thing I was going to say too, speaking of inconsistent storytelling, so how does Logan Paul get to create a tournament to create his number one contender when that guy hasn't won any? Like he's won that one title. He's not a long reigning champion. Like that's something where you say, oh, they've cleaned out a division, so you got to create a tournament to find a new number one contender. I'm like, how did he get enough clout to be able to say, I'm going to now declare that there's a long tournament to crown, because I am the greatest champion ever. It's like, you think management would have intervened and said, yeah, no. But again, it's inconsistent storytelling because they wouldn't do that with most champions unless it was somebody who was Roman Reigns, who's been champion forever. Maybe has enough cred to be able to do that. So again, the storytelling feels a little inconsistent there in terms of demanding matches, but whatever.
Yeah, I agree. I think Logan Paul gets that pass because they agree. It's probably somewhere in his contract that he was going to win a title, so they figure they give him the United States title. And the tournament was just a way to keep him out of the ring from wrestling, so he can go do his other YouTuber crap that he likes to go do, go hang out with his brother and stuff. So, I think that's probably why that happened. Because they're not going to put him in the ring. He's a part timer. I mean, that's really what he is. So I think that's just what they're going to treat it as, and that was the best way to hide it, right? They kept him in the face. They kept his face involved because they did the selfie promos and all that stuff. But I feel like he does definitely have to be there for this one, and he does have to. He will probably get involved in some way, shape, or form. I feel but either way, I agree. This tournament has been awesome to watch. I've enjoyed it. I think all the matches have been good. I don't think I have one that I feel like it was a stinker because they were all good. And I'm looking forward to this match because KO and Santos should put up a very good showing. I feel even with the interference and stuff, they work it really well. So I'm excited for it.
Yeah, should be a good one. And then following this, booked is the WWE Women's Championship, Io Sky versus Michin. What do you think of this one? I got a couple of thoughts, but we'll see.
Yeah, so on this one, I don't see Michin winning, unfortunately, and I feel bad, but I think she's a great. I like her as a wrestler too. There's a lot of good wrestlers right now in WWE that I feel get the short end of the stick just because of the star power that they have right now. But Io Sky, I feel, is riding too high right now. I think they want to, for two reasons. One, because of the whole Damage Control storyline, which we will see Damage Control come out, I'm sure, in the form of Bayley. But they're going to still let her come out on top because, one, Io is phenomenal. I think she's a well-suited champion. I think she does well in that role, in that aspect. But also because I feel they want her to hang on to that title and they want to keep Bayley involved because, like I said, I feel Bayley's going to win the Royal Rumble and she's going to have to challenge for a title, and it's going to be Io Sky because it's going to be the turn on Bayley by Damage Control. So I feel like Bayley's going to turn. They're going to save it for. And if Bayley wins the title off of Io, I would not be mad at that. I think that'd actually be well written, well done. But I don't see it happening right now with Michin. I just don't. Even now they're putting her back with the club with Luke Gallows, Carl Anderson, and AJ Styles. But now even AJ's kind of blowing them off. So who knows what's going to become of that for Michin. But I hope they don't lose her, or she doesn't get lost in the shuffle. But again, she's not going to win this one. I think Io Sky's going to win. Bayley's going to interfere. Damage Control's going to interfere, and then that's just what's going to happen.
Yeah, I'm torn on this one. So I feel like Io Sky should retain here, but there's something that makes me feel like, do they pull the trigger on? There's an issue where Bayley inadvertently she interferes with then she inadvertently costs her the title. And that this, because they already did the whole, hey, we're on rocky ground here, and then hey, now we're all good again. We're all good, and
everything's
the
fine.
world's our oyster. I'm and everything's fine now. And so I'm wondering, does it rear its ugly head here, and then for some way Bayley tries to do something to Michin, and then Io Sky gets impacted by it and loses, and then it's the turn where Damage Control turns on her right here and pummels her and kicks her out of the group pre Royal Rumble, so that way in the Rumble they're all coming for her, and then she gets to go and eliminate everybody from Damage Control during the Rumble. I'm wondering if they're going to take that approach, because I was like, this feels like they tried to pretend all's well, and now this is going to be the catalyst that gets things rolling for the Rumble, where she drops it here. You've got about a month to do the build up, and then you make it this big triumphant thing where Bayley's now, she's a face at the Rumble going up against the entire team, and she ends up eliminating each one of them. That would be kind of neat, but I don't know. I mean, they could take that approach, or they could just keep it boring and say, we're not going to take risks on this one. But I'm like, I feel like this one is actually the one that has the most likely chance of changing.
Right.
But
I mean, I'll agree to that.
More so than my crazy pick for Raw.
Yeah, I think out of all the title matches this week, I feel that that's probably the one where I could see a title change make sense, because they could make it make sense. Because Bayley's muffed a few interferences on her own, so I could see that. I don't know. I feel like the story goes better if Bayley gets jumped at the Rumble and they try to eliminate her, but one of those shenanigans where she goes through the middle rope or something and gets out, but is there, but then can come back in and take the rest of Damage Control out of frustration and anger, and that would be the pop. at the Rumble. I feel that would make more sense, but I can see the other happening too. I don't know. I see what you're saying. I'm still gonna stick with EO.
Yeah, I mean, I think the safe money's on EO Sky, but you never know. I always look for them. Hey, it's like you all hype this show up. Do something cool. Do something different, WWE.
And they will.
Then we of course have a number. Well, they might in the main event. We got a number one contenders match. This one feels pretty telegraphed too, but triple threat match, which should be a great one. I am excited about this. I was excited since they announced it. Randy Orton versus AJ Styles versus LA Knight. With the winner going to be moving on to face Roman Reigns at the Royal Rumble. So, how do you see this one playing out?
It's going to be a good one. Of course, triple threat. Those three in the ring are going to be awesome. I mean, Orton and AJ Styles on their own, this would be an awesome match. You add in LA Knight. I think, unfortunately, I feel LA Knight's probably going to take the bulk of the punishment just because they're going to try and protect Randy and try and protect AJ a little bit. But I think that's what's going to happen. But my prediction for this would be that Roman and the Bloodline come out to interfere and kind of, he doesn't want to face Randy. He doesn't want to face AJ. Maybe they help LA Knight win, or they just beat the crap out of everybody because they don't want anybody to win because Roman doesn't want to defend his title. Then triggers Nick Aldis to come out and tell Roman they have had that power struggle. Now, they've been struggling with each other, right? And he tried to tell Nick Aldis what to do. And I was like, I run this show. So I think that Nick Aldis is going to come out and tell Roman, since you put your hands in this, Royal Rumble is a fatal four-way. And I think that's how it's going to close out.
That would be awesome.
Yeah, that's what I think is going to happen.
That would be great.
Yeah.
I had
then you have a four-way at the Rumble. Oh, my God. That would be awesome.
Yeah. See, I took the boring road on this one, where I was like, I think there's going to be interference from Judgment Day. I was like, this feels pretty straightforward. Randy Orton, he'll win, and he's going to move on to the Rumble. And then I felt like LA Knight versus AJ Styles at the Rumble, like to settle a score. But then I'm thinking, do you keep both of those guys out of the Rumble match?
No,
that's kind of tough. But they've already laid the groundwork for. There's a rivalry there between LA Knight and AJ Styles, so. Do you just let that play out and they have a singles match at the Rumble? I feel like you shouldn't want to keep them out of the men's Rumble because I don't think there's a ton. Although I will say, like, CM Punk is basically the men's Rumble. It's CM Punk and Cody Rhodes at this point. Yeah, like they've built that up so much. Yeah. There's not a lot of play for everybody else.
Yeah.
If they did a fatal four-way with Roman Reigns, that would be awesome. That would be great. Gosh, I hope that happens.
Plus,
that would be so much fun.
A fatal four-way would protect Roman if he loses.
Yeah.
Because he would say he never got pinned.
Yeah, because somebody else could get pinned, and he never got pinned.
LA Knight would take the pin.
There's
the younger one of the group.
Yeah, of course.
Lay down, Rook.
You know, it's funny because I feel like LA Knight is getting, like, some of the bigger crowd reaction. Obviously, better crowd reaction than AJ Styles at this point because he did the heel turn.
Yeah.
So he's so over. Do you do that to him? But it would be such a WWE thing to try to bury the guy that's getting the most momentum because you're like, we haven't deemed you. It's not your time yet, according to us. Yeah. It's like the Zack Ryder thing. It's like you're going to bury him for the sake of burying him. Yeah. I hope not. And I say that as a person that doesn't really like LA Knight very much.
Right.
And like I don't get him. But hey, look, give the crowd what they want. Give the people what they want. Don't do the Daniel Bryan thing where you string people along forever and ever and ever, and then you finally cave in. Don't do that. Just do what any normal promotion would do, which is, hey, if this guy's hot, if he's the hot thing, let him run. Let him run with it. Clearly, he has charisma. I don't really care for his in-ring. I feel like he looks a little stiff all the time, but he's a good enough worker. People enjoy him on the mic. You can say he's a copy of The Rock all that you want to. Basically, everybody's a copy of everybody at this point.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Definitely.
They've all built off of someone else. So there's nobody that's completely original.
I mean that's the whole foundation,
except for Bray Wyatt. God rest his soul.
Oh God, yeah. Except for Bray.
Yeah.
Bray right there.
I know. The Fireflies we're still here, buddy. But other than him. There's not a lot of originals anymore. Everybody's kind of copying everybody else. So
because it's worked. I mean, and it's working now.
Yeah.
So I mean, why change it?
Yeah. I mean, why change it indeed? But yeah, it should be exciting. I hope you're right, Big D. I really do. Like I hope it's not my boring end of the show. I hope it's what you're talking about. So it should be a good one, everybody. That's it. Those are the 8 matches that have been announced. Who knows? There might be something that pops up. But those are the 8 matches that were announced. Notable that Raw's War had the lowest ratings in history on Monday for the recap show. Which, of course, because I'm like, everyone was like, "What does this mean?" And I'm like, "It means that it's Christmas, and nobody wants to watch a highlight show." So I know why they ran it. It's not because The Miz hosted it. The Miz did the best that he could.
Yeah, he did. No, it's the football, basketball, family, Christmas. So,
yeah, it's a lot of competing things. You don't want to rewatch matches that you've already seen. If you can pick, like that's already been done.
Okay.
There's my little thing on that. Go ahead.
But here's my thing on that. Why are we going to have a best of show when on Peacock you can go back and watch whatever you felt were the best matches?
Yeah.
I go back and watch Eddie Guerrero matches, because especially the one at Halloween Havoc with him and Rey Mysterio. Beautiful match. But,
yeah,
I mean, I could do that anytime. Why am I going to tune in? And again, I like the Miz. Miz is good.
You can do that on demand.
Yeah.
Well, and you know what's funny? I still, to this day, go back and rewatch the Smackdown episode from El Paso with Eddie Guerrero. I still go because I was at that Smackdown. It was a great show, and I still go back. And it's funny when you see it because like they cut out, like, and that was back when SmackDown was pre-taped, and so they cut out. Eddie had a little speech like right at the beginning that he did out of character. And so that's, of course, cut out from the network, and it was cut out from Peacock because they cut it out of the SmackDown actual show because he broke character. But just going back and watching that is so much fun, and it's like Eddie was great, but I forgot how charismatic he was, and I forgot how good he was when you've been away from him for so long. Yeah, and of course he rivaled with John Cena. John Cena was his rival at that time. Eddie was the U.S. champion at that point. And they had the whole thing where he stole the wheel off of Eddie Guerrero's car. That one actually had a great main event too. The main event was Undertaker, Big Show, and Kurt Angle, like in a triple threat match. I mean, it was such a good show.
It was.
So like I go back and rewatch those things, and I'm like, and you're right. If you can go back and do that, and absolutely watch whatever you want. You're not going to watch pre-selected clips, like whatever the WWE brass decided was the best for the year.
But they want to push.
And no in memoriam
Triple H
that I
matches
saw either.
No.
Yeah, and I was honestly hoping they were going to do a little in memoriam for those that we lost this year, specifically for Bray Wyatt. I didn't see anything there. And I get it. So like, oh, this is the best of. It's going to be festive. We don't want to bring the mood down, but I feel like lost opportunity. WWE got to remember him. Take the time to remember him. Remember those that we lost this year, and
one of the greatest minds.
Yeah, one
honestly,
of the
best, hands down.
And on that note, with one of the greatest minds, that does it for us today. It was a shorter show. Looking forward, let us know if you think we're full of garbage in the comments section. If you disagree, or if you think that we're geniuses, I don't know. Whatever you want to put. Remember to like, share, and subscribe. Thank you for being here. Thank you for supporting us as always. Happy New Year, everyone. Please be safe out there. If you have to drink, please drink responsibly. Don't drink and drive. Get an Uber. Get whatever you need. Get a ride home from somebody. Have a safe and wonderful New Year's, everyone. Big D, thank you for everything this year. Looking forward to a great 2024 as we continue this together as well. So thank you, my friend.
No, thank you. I appreciate it and love doing this. Love our conversations here. Love our talks. I know it's, one of those things that I feel people don't understand how truly beautiful it is, right? When you can actually talk about the back end of what's going on and the stories and really getting into it, as an adult and seeing the nice work done within the ring between these competitors. And I just love talking about it. So, again, I'm with you. Thank you to everybody. Hope everyone has a safe and happy New Year. Hope you have a safe and happy New Year. I'll be at home. Probably.
So will I. I am not going out.
Struggling to stay awake.
I'm not going. Exactly. I'm not staying up. I'm going to be like, it's 8 p.m. Good night, everybody. That's going to be it. I'm not going to stay up late. When you got small kids at home, it's like we need all the rest that we can get. So when they sleep,
Take advantage.
I sleep.
But thank you.
Take advantage of
Appreciate
it.
Yes,
Yeah.
thank you.
Thanks, everybody. And we'll see you next week with an actual recap. Have a great rest of your night. Happy New Year, everyone.
See ya.